Hello and welcome to All Villa, No Filler. Please like and subscribe. Welcome back to Europe. You know, I am a veteran of both of those Rapid Vienna games. I was at the first one we lost, and then I went to the follow-up when the nightmare returned. And I'm still, got a bit of PTSD from that. I've grown up with a fair few disappointing European nights with Villa, where they go into games where we are the better team. If you look at the squad player for player, and we should go in there as a favourite, and then we turn up and we disappoint. So there's probably a lot of young Villa fans now. Some might be watching this who haven't really seen Villa in Europe before because it has been quite a while since we were there. So like John McClane or Bruce Willis playing John McClane in Die Hard, as he says in that film, "Welcome to the party, pal." Look, I'm not just going to sit here and whinge and moan and do a Mark Goldbridge and all this. That was frustrating. That was a really frustrating display from Villa. The selection, I think it's open to criticism. I think you can understand why, with the sheer volume of games that Aston Villa have coming up, against teams Chelsea coming up this Sunday, Brighton at home. Really just took a lot of huge volume of games coming. Everton next week, another European game after that. So Emery has to move this squad around. He has to give players, he can't play the same players over and over and over again. So it's understandable why he wants to, there's probably a lot of players who wanted to prove themselves. He's got players who are, international level, or players who have high level experience, like Callum Chambers has played at Arsenal for many years, Clement Lenglet, Barcelona, Spurs last season, French international. So these are all players that you expect to come in and do a job, but then at the same time, if they've not played together very much, it doesn't matter how good you are, your rhythm's not going to be right. And if you haven't played for a while, like Callum Chambers did, you're going to look sluggish. Villa were too easy to play against, I thought. And I think maybe the noise, I think fans in the stadium can probably give us a better example of that. But listening to it, the noise in the stadium was very high. And I can't help but think that we needed Tyrone Mings there just to, sort that defence out. Because at Newcastle, at Liverpool, and now here away at Warsaw, there's a pattern here. And, there's going to be a few fans who are going to probably get annoyed at me saying it, but there's clear the Mings injury is a real problem because we don't have anyone to replace that leadership quality with that sort of heroic, getting in the way of stuff. And I look at Chelsea this weekend, and I'm fearing the same thing again. I'm like, I think attacking wise, we look quality. I think we have some brilliant attackers, and I feel like we can score against anybody more than a goal a game. But it's whether we have the defensive strength right now to ensure that those attacking players, we can see the best of them without fearing we're going to concede a bunch of goals. And I think that I still think the plan was for Mings to start the games like Chelsea and all that, for Torres to come in when we were, the more progressive team, because Torres is a fantastic player on the ball, and I think he would have been fine tonight, but I just feel like Mings is a really big loss, and I think we're going to have to adapt to this better, because that's the third game away from home now where I've just thought Villa looked really a bit too easy to play against defensively. And looking at the third goal, for instance, Mucci, very good. He looked a very good player, technically very nice, but you can see Emery raging about it because we lose the ball up high. I think it was Dean. But I think it's only Yuri Tielemans in midfield. So easy to get it from bypassing midfield into Mucci. Then he's got Chambers and Konsa, and he's sort of running at the two of them, and neither one of them taking responsibility to just go in and get him. And all night long, Warsaw's players, they were pretty cynical. And to be honest, I think one of them should have had a red card in the first half for that high tackle on Leon Bailey. I think in the Premier League that probably goes to VAR and is a red card. It was a pretty nasty challenge, and Bailey took a lot of hits tonight. But what Warsaw were good at was just, I feel like if a Villa player had done the same thing and was running at their defenders, they would have probably done a cynical foul. They'd have gone in there, stopped them, done something just to stop it. Whereas we were just backing off, and he gets the shot through the legs of Chambers. Martinez does well to get a hand to it, but it goes in. And I think that summed it up, really. It was a bit too, is the word lackadaisical? It's like, it felt like Warsaw rose to the occasion. The noise level in the stadium obviously helped them. Whereas Villa, I just think that we didn't rise to it. I think the players that reached the required standard, I think Jhon Durán was superb. Again, he looks like a sensation, 19 years of age, fantastic header. The reaction to the Zanio, to that coming off the bar, moving his body, he's in really, really sharp form at the moment. And honestly, I don't think he should have come off. I when he came off at the time, I went to my girlfriend who was watching it with me. I was like, don't know about that one. I think he was looking really sharp. Nearly scored again. Fantastic. Took the ball with his back to goal, turned. Great save from the Warsaw keeper, and that would have put us 3-2 up. And something I was observing he was doing all night, he was making really clever runs. He's not just a physical unit up front. He's not just clearly quite a good finisher, but some of those runs he was making, trying to make curved runs in behind. There was about 2 or 3 occasions first half. It's like we didn't quite gamble. It's like just go on, send it into him. He might make something of that. I think, again, it was a really positive display from Durán. I think Leon Bailey did really well. I've questioned him before, but this season, he's, since that Everton game, he's really come alive, really. And I thought he was, again, all night long. He took a lot of hits. And I think that foul on him in the first half was pretty despicable, to be honest. It was a really nasty challenge. But, he kept on going and created a lot. And right at the end there as well, almost created a chance. Took a shot that almost came out to Yuri Tielemans. He either should have squared it for Ollie Watkins or probably should have put it in. I think where you'd say is, and then also Durán coming off, I don't think I agreed with. Chambers should have come off earlier. Chambers and Dean, I think the 2 fullbacks really were not good tonight. And I think Chambers, look, he hasn't played for a while, and he looked like he hadn't played for a while. And that was a tough night. And I think that Cash should have been on quite a lot sooner than he was. In fact, I think Cash only came on about 10 minutes after Watkins and Diaby had come on. And I felt Cash, Diaby and Bailey were the only players who I thought reached the required standard tonight. Maybe there's others, but they're the only 3 off the top of my head. I think Zaniolo had moments in the first half where he looked really good as well. Fantastic shot that led to the Diaby goal from Zaniolo, and great turn as well. So he showed his quality as well. But Cash was really once he got into it in that final 10 minutes, he was really trying to get something going on 2 occasions. He created a chance for Diaby, who should have taken it around the keeper and scored. He was also the player who progressed forward, took that chance, deflected out, came to Jacob Ramsey. Great to see him back, by the way, who should have done better. It was a poor effort from him. Again, you can forgive him because he's been out for a while. But the way, and then so if I try and assess all of the goals, first goal, it was just lost the ball up top, ball across past Chambers, and Longley and Conser looked to be honest, there was no. I think if Longley's back where Conser is, Longley blocks that. And then Dean just kind of asleep as the player comes past him. I feel like Longley should have been deeper. I've seen a lot of blame on Dean for that goal, but I also think Longley, if he'd been deeper and in line with the rest of the defence, I think he would have been there to block it. And then Villa, great goal from Durán, really good header, great work from Zaniolo. And then the second goal, bloody hell, Villa were starting to be a bit dominant then. And then, again, just an easy breakaway from centre mid. We had no control in there. That's where we had to dominate tonight. And to be fair, Warsaw pressed really hard. They were very physical, worked so hard all night. I mean, massive praise to them for that. They were really good at that and had real quality as well. And just a bit overawed our midfield at times. But a second goal, like again, like he had the freedom of the park, didn't he, Mucci? Ball across him. I was like, where the hell's the defence? And Chambers is like 10 yards off him behind. And I don't know where I need to look back at it, just what was going on at that point, whether he'd pushed forward or not. And the transition, we were just caught out massively by it. But there was no one that's come back and, compensate for the fact that Chambers was further forward. And Chambers, he's just miles off Mucci there, wasn't he? And then Dean, good goal, good deflected off. That's the way to fight back from, going 2 down. And then Durán was very unlucky not to make it 3-2. And then that third goal, it was just bypassing midfield so simply. And then, God, somebody had to take him out, didn't they? Not let him run at you. And you could see Emery going mad there, show a bit more physicality, stop him. So I think it was a wake-up call. It's hard to sum it up. There's going to be questions about the team selection to start with. I understand it with the volume of games coming up, and Chelsea as well coming up. I worry a bit about Malo Gusto on the right, pushing forward. Nicholas Jackson physically, how will our defence cope with him? And then also Raheem Sterling's in great form. I back us to score. It's just defensively at the moment. I still think we're a work in progress, and we're still adapting to Mings not being there, which again we saw tonight. So Villa just have to bounce back. It's Europe. You can't underestimate anybody. Everyone in Europe is good. Zielinski beat Alkmaar 4-3. A bit of a surprise there. I wasn't really expecting that. Villa want to win this group, and we're going to have to go and win every game now, really, because who knows how Warsaw are going to do in the other fixtures as well. A wake-up call is how I would sum that up. Very frustrating. And I would have high praise for Durán. I think Bailey did well, and I think Cash should have been on quite a bit earlier, and showed the requisite forward progression that I think if he'd been on earlier, maybe we'd have got a goal through that. I'm sure Emery's going mad at them right now. I don't want to rant on too much longer. Just frustrating. There's been a few away games now for Villa this season where you just questioning defensively where we're at the moment, but attacking wise, we definitely had the chances to win it. A couple of chances in the last 10 mins. We definitely had the chances not to lose it, basically. But for future games, going to have to learn our lesson and make sure we don't repeat that. But Chelsea next. Come on, got to bounce back. Got to take our chances when they come at Chelsea, because they will come. Chelsea defensively are conceding at the moment, but defensively we've got to be very, very careful against what is a high-quality Chelsea attack. So, up the mighty Villa.